So now we'll be looking at some additional past questions, and as you know, we have already solved some past questions. All those examples that were solved in which options were located there, those questions were actually JAMB past questions. So now we'll be looking at some additional questions. So the first question we'll try to solve as follows: if P is a set of 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 and P union Q is equals to set of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, comma, list the elements in Q. So now we are given the set P and we are given the elements that are in set P, and we are given the elements that are in set that is in set P union Q. So we are now told to find the list of elements in Q. So now if you recall, P union Q means that the elements that are in P, elements in P plus the elements in Q. So P union Q consists of both elements that are in P and elements that are in Q. So therefore, the element in Q or set Q now will be equals to the element in P union Q then less than the element in what? In P. So all we have to do now is to look for the elements that in P that are not in P but are in P union Q, and if we check very well we see that is what? Just only 6 and 7. So set Q must be made up of 6 and 7, because if set Q is made up of 6 and 7, then set P union Q made up of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which are the elements in P, and 6 and 7, which are the elements in Q. So the correct answer to this question is option D. Now let's look at the second example. It says if P is equals to X such that X is an odd number that ranges between -1 less than X less than or equals to 20, and X is equals to Y such that Y is prime number between the range -2 less than X less than or equals to 25, find P intercept Q. So what are we supposed to do? First, we need to list out the element in P. So what are we told? We are told that the element in P, which is given by X, is of value of X that are odd numbers between -1 and 20. So now if you notice the inequality sign, here we have minus and here we have less than here and we have less than or equals to here. So what does that mean? It means that the odd numbers that we are looking at will be greater than -1 and they will be equals to or less than 20. So the first odd number we will encounter that is greater than -1 is what? Is 1. Then the next is what? 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, 17 and 19. So these are the list of odd number between this range that we are given. And we are told that Q is Y such that Y is prime numbers between -2 less than Y less than equals to 25. So we are looking for the prime numbers that are greater than -2 but less than or equals to 25. So what are prime numbers? You know that prime numbers are numbers that can only divided by 1 and itself. So in this case, the prime number, first prime number we have consists of 2, then we know 3 is a prime number, then 5 is a prime number, then 7 is a prime number, then the next prime number we have is 11, then the next is 13, then the next is 17, then the next is 19, then the next is 23. So these are the prime numbers that exist between -2 less than Y less than or equals to 25. So we are now told to find P intercept Q. And if you recall, what does intercept means? It means what elements are common to both sets. So we just look for the elements that are common. So you can see the first common element is what? 3. So 3 is common, so it will be included in the intersection. Then 5 is also common, then 7 is also common, then 11 is common to both of them, then 13 is common to both of them. So over here is 11, then 13 is common to both of them, then 17 is common to both of them, and finally 19 is common to both of them. So the intercept of P and Q is made up of 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17 and 19. So which options encompasses all what is here? So if you look closely, we see that the correct answer to this question is what was option A, because option A has all what you are looking for. 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17 and 19. So let's go to the next question. In the next question now, we are told that given that U, which is the universal set, is equals to the even numbers between 0 and 30, and we are told that P is multiples of 6 between 0 and 30. Then we are told that Q is equals to the multiples of 4 between 0 and 30. Then we are told to find the complement of P union Q. So we have to list out the elements. So our universal set in this case now, U, is made up of what? The even numbers between 0 and 30. So what are the even numbers that lies in between 0 and 30? We have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26 and 28. Since we are told even numbers between, so it has to be between these two numbers. Assuming we are told inclusive, then we can add both the 0 and the 30, but since we are always, it's only specified that the even numbers in between, so just start at 2 and end at 28. So we are told that P are the multiples of 6 between 0 and 30. So what are multiples of 6? Multiples of 6 are just numbers that can be divided by 6. That's what by multiples of 6. So you start out, the first multiple of 6 is going to be 6. Then you have 12. Then you have 18. Then you have 24. So you are going to stop at 24 because you are looking for the multiples in between 0 and 30. Then the next Q to is what multiples of 4 between 0 and 30. So we start up at 4, we have 8, we have 12, we have 16, we have 20, we have 24 and we have 28. So now we are told to find the complement of P union Q. So what is the first thing we have to do? We have to find the union of P union Q. And what does P union Q mean? It means that what the elements that are in both P and Q. So we start out, what elements are in both P and Q? We have a 4 here, then we have a 6 here, then we have 8, then we have 12 which is common to both, then we have a 16, then we have 18, then we have 20, then we have 24 which is common to both, and we have 28. So now I found the union of P and Q, and this element here contain all the elements that are both in P and Q. But the question does not ask us to find the union of P and Q. It tells us to find the complement of P union Q. And what do we define as complement? We said complement of a set are the elements that are not in the set but they are contained in the universal set. So this set P union Q, what are the elements that are not in this set but are in the universal set? So that is what we just need to figure out. So now we have to look for the ones that are not here but are here. So first one is a 2. Then again, we have 4 here, so we don't write that out. We have 6, we don't write that out. We have 8, we don't write that out. Then we don't have a 10 here, so we write out the 10. We have a 12, so we don't write that out. We don't have a 14 here, so we write that out. We have a 16 here, so we don't write that out. We have an 18 here, so we don't write that out. We have a 20 here, so we don't write that out. We don't have a 22 here, so we write that out. We have a 24, we don't write that out. We don't have a 26, so we write that out. And finally, we have a 28 in the universal set, so we don't write that out. So the complement of P union Q is given as the set containing 2, 10, 14, 22 and 26. and that corresponds to option A. Wow, if you would even notice, option A and B are the same, so anyone you choose. But as you can see the idea, so first we found P union Q, then we found the complement by looking for elements that are not contained in P union Q but are contained in the universal set. So now let's move on to the next example. We are told that from the diagram below, the shaded part represents, I'm sorry for the quality of the picture here because I just screen grabbed it from somewhere, so it's not really looking clear. But to draw out what is there, this is what is there, so you can see it clearly. So you have here, you have P and you have Q and you have R, and this part is shaded. And this part is shaded. So you have this part. So they are telling us that what represents this part here. So now we'll go through the options. We are told the first one. So we'll try to draw that out and see which will correspond to what we know. So for the first part now, we are told that is this P intersect Q intersect Q intersect R. So what does this mean? So we'll start out by figuring out P intersect Q. So what is P intersect Q? We know P intersect Q is this space between P and Q, so which is what? Here. And we know that P intersect R is this space here. But question now says P intersect Q and P intersect R, meaning what do they share in common? What they share in common is this tiny space in between. So this option, what it represents is just this tiny portion that is shaded color green, which is not this. So move on to the B part of the question. So in the B part now, we are told that is it, for example, is it P intersect Q then union P intersect R? So we know this is P, Q and R. So the same logic applies. P intersect Q is given by this shaded union there, and P intersect R is given by this region here. So now this union gist means the combination of both of them. So when we combine both of them together, that is the shaded portion here. And once we see this, we see that it is the same region that is being painted in the question. So therefore, the correct answer to this option is B. So if you walk through the other options, you find out that the region that you get that will be shaded will not be this. So only this, when you shade it out, will it give you something that looks like what you're given in the question. So let's move on to the next question now, which asks us that the shaded portion in the Venn diagram above is what? So to explain this again, we are going to try to sketch out the answer. So for the A part, we are told that is it Z, X intersect Z. So we know that if this is X and this is Y and this is Z, we have X, Y, Z. We know that X intersect Z is the region in between X and Z that connects them, which will be this. So as you can see, this region even shades this tiny portion, but in the question that we are given, that portion is not shaded. So A is not the answer. If you move on to B now, we are told that is it X prime intersect Y intersect Z. So now to explain that, let's sketch it out. So you have X, Y, Z. So what do we know is X bar? So in this case, X bar represents X complement of X. So the complement of X, and I will draw that with the orange marker, represents all the region that are outside of X. So it represents all these region here that are outside of X. That is the complement of X. So now we have the complement of, we have Y now. So we know that, let me indicate that with a red barrel. So Y represents all this region here, and Z represents, let me do that with a pink marker, X represents all this region. So the intercept of those three regions, as you can see, is this portion over here. This is where the three region overlaps, this portion over here, which is not what we are looking for, because what we are looking for is this portion between X and Z and not between Y and Z. So move on to the third option now, which is C. I will try to sketch out C. So for C now, okay, so we have same thing x, we have y, and we have our z. We have x, y, and z. So we are told that the first is x, so I'll represent that with orange. So you have x, which is represented by this region, all this region here. Then y complement of y is represented by all the region that is outside of y. So that will represent all these region that are not in y. Every other thing outside of y is y complement, as you would see now. Yes, as this. And finally, we have z, and z is everything within this cycle. So z represents everything within the cycle, which is here. So now, what is the intercept of all of them? So in what region does the three line meet? If you look at it carefully, in this section here, we have the orange line here, we have the blue line, and we have the green line within this region. So this represents the intercept of the three line. So this region here is what is represented by x intercept, y not intersect z. So and that bears a striking resemblance to the question that is given. As you can see, this tiny portion is not shaded, and here also the tiny portion is not shaded. So the answer to this question is C. Now let's move on to the next question. The next question is about solving questions that has to do with Venn diagram. In a survey of 50 newspaper readers, 40 read Champion and 30 read Guardian. How many read both newspaper? So to sketch that out, we'll first try to express that in a Venn diagram. So when we've expressed in the Venn diagram, so we have this and this. So let's say G represent people that read Champion and G people that read Guardian. We are told that the universal set is 50 because only 50 newspaper readers were surveyed. So people that read Champion are what? Are 14, and people that read Guardian are 30. What does it mean? It means that everybody that reads Champion newspaper, that means everybody within this region is what? They are 40, and everybody within this region that read Guardian are what? Are 30. But there is something to bear notice of. Within the intersection here, it means that there are some people that read both Guardian and Champion newspaper. So let's note those people as X, those that read both newspapers, so they are X. So the people that read only Champion newspaper will be the total number of Champion newspaper reader minus people that read both newspaper. So the region, this region here will be represented as what? 40 minus x. The same logic applies to this other side. 30 people read the Guardian newspaper, but out of those 30, x number of them read both Guardian and Champion. So the number that read only Guardian, which is represented by this section here, is what? 30 minus x. So we know that the total number of people that read only Champion plus total number that read only Guardian plus the people that read both newspaper must be equal to the universal set, which is 50. So in this case, I know that what? 40 minus x plus 30 minus x then plus x must be equals to 50. So I can find x. So I know that minus x is equals to 50 minus 70. So minus x is equals to minus 20. I know that x is equals to 20. So x represents the number of people that read both newspaper, and I found out that that value is what? 20. So 20 read both newspaper. Then 40 minus 20, 20 read only Guardian, and 20 minus 10, 10 people read only Guardian, while 20 read only Champion. So the answer to this question is 20, since we are asked to calculate the number of people that read both newspaper. And now to the last question that we are going to be solving. Here we are told that in a school, 220 students offer biology or mathematics or both. So now we are told that in a particular school now we are given the universal set as 220 and out of that those 220 now we are told that they either offer biology or they offer mathematics or they offer both. That means you have to do at least one. It's either you are offering biology or you are offering mathematics or you are offering both of them. Now 125 offer biology, so that means people that offer biology are what? 125, and people that offer mathematics are what? Are 110. Now said how many offer biology but not mathematics? So what they want us to find out is the number that, if you remember this biology, people that are offering biology that includes 125, they include people that are offering only biology and people that are offering both biology and mathematics, since it is intersecting with this diagram for mathematics. So but we have to find only this region, the region in which people are offering only biology but not mathematics. So this region here without the intersect. So we need to find out what this region is. So now let's assume that the number of students that offer both subjects is X, and as we have reasoned before, number of people that offer only biology will be total number of people offering biology minus those that are offering both subjects. So here will be what? 125 minus X, and following the same logic, here will also be what? 110 minus X. So now as I have explained before, the sum of people offering only biology plus the sum of people offering only mathematics plus number of people offering both subjects must be equal to the universal set, which is 220. So now we can write out that 125 minus X plus X plus 110 minus X must be equal to 220. So I know that 235 minus X is equal to 220. So I know that 235 minus 220 is equal to X. So X is equal to 15. So that means the number of students that are offering both subjects is 15. But the question does not ask me to find the number of people offering both subjects. It asks me to find the number that offer biology but not mathematics, which is represented by this orange region, and which we have defined as 125 minus X, or 125 minus people taking both. So the number of people taking biology only is equals to what? 125 minus X. So that is going to be 125, and I've gotten X to be 15, and that is equal to 110. So the number of people taking biology but not mathematics is given by 110, which is option D. So as you have seen, attempting to solve questions that has to do with set, especially Venn diagram, has to do with understanding what is being asked and how to analyze. So what I would suggest is that if you don't understand, you go through the video again and you are try to attempt the questions that are given in the exercise section. Also, you can always look through the JAMB questions to get other questions that are relating to set and try to attempt them. So that will be all with regards to set. Bye for now.